Have you ever followed all the rules of the game, only to watch someone else who broke every rule take the prize? Have you ever been the nice guy, the one who is dependable, agreeable, and fair, only to be consistently overlooked for the promotion, the opportunity, or the respect you deserve? Have you ever felt your kindness being treated as a weakness, your good intentions exploited, your willingness to be fair used as a weapon against you? You are not imagining it. You're experiencing the brutal, unspoken truth of human nature. You've been programmed with a dangerous lie, a lie that society sells you to be nice, be fair, and wait your turn. This is the psychological programming of the masses, designed to keep you predictable, compliant, and easy to control. It is why good men finish last. It is why, right now, someone weaker and less intelligent than you is wielding more influence. This is the hidden, dark psychology that no one wants to admit. The world doesn't reward intelligence, it rewards influence. It doesn't respect good hearts, it respects strong presence. It doesn't care about your character, it cares about your psychological dominance. This realization is brutal, but it is also liberating. It frees you from a life of frustration and invisibility. You are not failing because you are bad. You are failing because you are playing by rules that your competitors broke long ago. The world does not run on fairness. It runs on power. While you are playing checkers with good intentions, others are playing chess with calculated, ruthless moves. The nice guy is not a person, it is a role designed for a pawn, not a player. To change your fate, you must change your programming. You must unlearn the lessons of the victim and learn the laws of the strategist. This is not about becoming cruel, it is about becoming strategically ruthless. It is about trading your naive, emotional reactions for ice-cold, calculated discipline. Today, we explore the 5 forbidden secrets of strategic ruthlessness. These are the hidden rules that separate those who get respected from those who get used. If you are ready to stop being a pawn and start becoming a player, make this commitment. Type this into the comments below. I refuse to be a pawn in someone else's game. Chapter 1. The Trap of Approval. The nice guy is trapped in a psychological prison, the desperate, suffocating need to be liked. This is the first and most fundamental piece of your flawed programming. You have been conditioned to believe that your value is determined by the approval of others. You seek validation, you avoid conflict, you say yes when you desperately want to say no. You silence your own opinions to make others comfortable. You have turned your need for approval into a psychological leash, handing the end of it to everyone you meet. When they pull, you obey. The amateur believes that being likable is the path to influence. The master knows that psychological dominance trumps likability. Being respected is infinitely more valuable than being liked. When people merely like you, they feel safe. They see you as predictable. And because they know you fear disappointing them, they will take risks with your boundaries, your time, and your feelings. They assume you will forgive them. When people respect you, they feel a sense of danger. They see you as formidable. They understand that you are someone whose approval actually matters, and that disrespecting you comes with immediate and severe social consequences. This is rooted in a core psychological principle, the scarcity of value. Humans automatically devalue what is abundant and obsess over what is scarce. The nice guy makes his approval, his time, and his agreement abundant and therefore worthless. The strategist makes his approval scarce and therefore highly valuable. Let's see this in practice. An idea is challenged in a meeting. When the amateur's idea is criticized, he immediately feels a wave of panic. He becomes defensive, over-explains, and visibly seeks validation. He says things like, "But you can see what I was trying to do, right?" He is asking to be liked, not to be right. His need for approval leashes him. When the master's idea is criticized, he pauses. He detaches his ego from the idea. He doesn't seek validation, he seeks clarity. He might respond with cold, neutral questions like, "Which part of the premise do you believe is flawed?" or "What alternative data are you using?" He signals that his confidence is internal and that the group must now prove why he is wrong. He has made his agreement the scarce commodity. Machiavelli was direct about this. It is much safer to be feared than loved if one has to lack one of the two. This is not about being a tyrant, it is about becoming someone whose presence demands caution. You must escape the trap of approval. Stop asking, will they like me if I do this? Start asking, will this action increase or decrease my social power? Become comfortable with others' discomfort when it serves your interests. Prioritize your own mission. Build a reputation for being formidable, not just nice. Type this affirmation into the comments. My respect is earned, not given. Chapter 2. The Armor of Indifference. True ruthlessness is not the emotional outburst of anger. It is the exact opposite. It is ice-cold emotional discipline. The nice guy is a slave to his emotions. He is emotionally reactive. When someone attacks or disrespects him, he gets defensive. He argues. He tries to explain why he is right. This is the greatest gift he can give his manipulator. This reactivity makes you a puppet. The manipulator learns your strings, and from that moment on, they are the emotional puppet master. They know that a single passive-aggressive comment can make you defensive. They know a well-placed guilt trip can make you compliant. Your emotions become their tools, and your reactions become their strategy. An emotionally reactive person is predictable. They can be controlled by anyone who knows which buttons to push. Every time you lose your composure, you are giving your power away. The master understands that emotions are information, not instructions. He feels the anger, he feels the frustration, but he does not let these feelings dictate his actions. He wears the armor of indifference, a psychological wall between his feelings and his response. While the amateur reacts emotionally, the master responds calculatedly. This is the fundamental difference between identification and observation. The amateur identifies with his feelings. He thinks, I am angry, or I am hurt. His identity is fused with the emotion, so he must act on it. The master observes his feelings. He thinks, I feel a sense of anger rising. This small linguistic shift creates a vast psychological distance, giving him the space to choose his next move. Let's make this practical. Someone publicly undermines you in a meeting. The amateur gets red-faced. He interrupts. That's not true, I actually did. He tries to argue the facts. He looks weak, defensive, and validates the attacker's power. The master feels the anger, but he pauses. He holds his composure. He lets the attack hang in the air, creating uncomfortable silence. Then he asks a cold, logical question. What response would be most damaging to this person's social standing while elevating mine? Maybe he ignores the attack completely, demonstrating the attacker isn't worth his energy. Maybe he responds with a cold, factual correction that makes the attacker look foolish and unprepared. Maybe he simply smiles and says, an interesting perspective, we'll note it. The key is that his response is chosen, not triggered. This emotional sovereignty is the source of tremendous psychological power. When others know they cannot manipulate your emotions, they cannot manipulate you. They stop seeing you as a target and start treating you with caution and respect. Master your emotional responses. Let others react while you strategically respond. Type this into the comments. I am the master of my emotions. Chapter 3. The Myth of a Fair Game. Here is the most brutal truth, the one that keeps nice guys in a state of perpetual frustration. Fairness is a psychological trap. It is a lie sold to you to keep you weak and compliant. The nice guy is programmed to believe in a fair game. He believes that if he is fair, others will be fair to him. If he gives respect, he will receive respect. If he helps someone, they will help him back. He waits for his turn while others cut the line. This predictable, fair behavior doesn't make you noble. It makes you prey. While you are waiting for fair treatment, someone else is taking what you want. While you are playing by imaginary rules, others are rewriting the game to their advantage. While you are expecting reciprocity, manipulators are exploiting your predictable behavior. The master knows the fair game is a myth. He understands that he has been programmed to play by rules that others broke long ago. You must understand why this myth exists. Society functions on a set of public rules. Be a team player, say what you mean, and treat others fairly. These rules are for the masses. They create a stable, predictable system. But behind this public facade, a different, unspoken set of rules governs those who actually accumulate power. The nice guy mistakes the public rules for the real rules and is crushed as a result. Let's apply this to a real situation. A limited, high-value opportunity opens up. The amateur waits for his turn, believing his hard work will be fairly recognized. He doesn't want to seem pushy. He waits for permission, playing by the public rules. The master knows the game is not fair, it's a game of influence. He bypasses the normal queue. He strategically controls the narrative, manages his perception, and takes the opportunity. He operates by the real rules of power, not the public rules of fairness. The amateur operates on fairness. The master operates on power dynamics. The amateur tries to reason with those who operate on pure self-interest. The master stops being fair with people who are not fair to him. You must reprogram your mind. Stop expecting the world to be fair. It is not. The sooner you accept this, the sooner you can stop being its victim. This is not a call for you to become unfair. It is a call for you to become strategic. You do not try to convince people to treat you better. You create situations where treating you well is in their self-interest, and treating you poorly costs them something they value. You do not negotiate with people who do not respect your worth. You simply demonstrate through your actions that disrespecting you has severe social consequences. Stop playing a game that is rigged against you. Stop waiting for your turn. Stop expecting manipulators to suddenly play fair. Start being strategic with people who only understand power. Type this into the comments. I create my own rules. Chapter 4. The Principle of the Single Strike. This is where the nice guy destroys his own influence. He makes weak moves repeatedly, instead of one strong move rarely. The nice guy is all bark and no bite. He constantly threatens consequences he never delivers. He gives multiple final warnings. He tries to control others through nagging, pleading, or emotional manipulation. This is the fatal error of half measures. This is the worst possible strategy. You train people to ignore you. You teach them that your words have no power and your boundaries are meaningless. But it's worse than that. When you give weak pushback, you don't solve the problem. You wound someone's ego slightly. This makes them remember and plot revenge. You create the single worst outcome. You still look weak, but you have also created a motivated enemy who now sees you as a target. The master strategist operates differently. He gives fewer warnings. But when he acts, his actions are decisive, memorable, and final. Machiavelli observed, if an injury has to be done to a man, it should be so severe that his vengeance need not be feared. In modern psychological terms, this means when you must demonstrate your power, you make it so clear that people understand not to test you again. This is the principle of the single strike. You don't engage in a long, drawn-out emotional battle. You make one calculated move that ends the conflict in your favor. Let's use a concrete example. Someone in your social circle constantly interrupts you and dismisses your opinions. The amateur gets visibly frustrated. He complains to others about the behavior. He weakly says, "Can you please stop interrupting me?" This is a half measure. It reinforces the person's dominance, as they see they can affect your emotional state with no real cost. The master documents the pattern. He waits. Then he acts once and decisively. Perhaps he publicly calls out their behavior in a way that embarrasses them, or perhaps he simply excludes them from an important project or social event they value. The response is disproportionately strong compared to the single incident, but perfectly proportionate to the pattern of disrespect. The most advanced form of this law is to remove your personality from it entirely. You create systematic consequences. The strategist builds systems where respect automatically leads to access and disrespect automatically leads to exclusion. The nice guy makes emotional threats. The master lets the natural consequences of the system do the work for him. This creates psychological impact. Others see that disrespecting you has real costs. They see you are not someone who makes empty threats. Make fewer threats. Build a reputation for decisive action rather than empty warnings. Type this into the comments. My actions carry real consequences. Chapter 5. The Dominance of the Quiet Player. This is the final and most crucial lesson. True psychological dominance operates in silence. The nice guy is noisy. He feels the need to explain himself, to justify his decisions. He talks about his plans, his ambitions, and how tough he is. This transparency is a critical weakness. He operates with tactical transparency, believing that by being an open book, he is building trust. In reality, he is giving away ammunition. He is showing his entire strategy, his weaknesses, and his desires to his competitors. People who constantly talk about their power usually have none. They are advertising what they wish they possessed. Real power doesn't need to announce itself. Real influence works behind the scenes. Real psychological dominance is felt rather than declared. The most dangerous person in any room is often the quiet player. They are observing while others are performing. They are calculating while others are reacting. They are positioning while others are posturing. The quiet player understands that information is the real currency of power. While the amateur is talking, the master is listening. He is gathering information about others while revealing minimal information about himself. He creates an information asymmetry that he can leverage at any time. His silence isn't passive, it's an active, strategic weapon. Let's see this in a high-stakes negotiation. The amateur nervously fills the silence. He reveals his deadlines, his budget limits, and his best offer up front, hoping his honesty will be rewarded. The master embraces the silence. He asks open-ended questions. He lets the other side talk, revealing their fears, their deadlines, and their weaknesses. He gathers all the intelligence before making a single calculated move. The strategist's power is assumed, not announced. His influence is demonstrated through results, not declarations. Machiavelli wrote, "The lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves." One must therefore be a fox to recognize traps and a lion to frighten wolves. This is the key. The nice guy tries to be the lion all the time, noisy and posturing. The quiet player is the fox, silently recognizing all the traps. He is strategically intelligent, the fox, when situations require cunning, and psychologically forceful, the lion, only when the moment demands it. But he never telegraphs his strategy. Your competitors do not see your moves until it is too late to counter them. Your enemies do not realize you are undermining them until their influence has already crumbled. This is not about being dishonest. This is about understanding that strategic discretion is more powerful than tactical transparency. Build your psychological empire quietly. Let others make noise while you make strategic moves. When you operate with silent dominance, people start experiencing your power without understanding how you acquired it. This makes your influence seem natural and inevitable rather than calculated and aggressive. Type this into the comments. I move in silence and let my results speak. You have just been given the 5 laws of strategic ruthlessness. The trap of approval, that respect is more valuable than likability. The armor of indifference, that emotional discipline is true power. The myth of a fair game, that fairness is a trap for the naive. The principle of the single strike, that decisive action is superior to empty warnings. And the dominance of the quiet player, that real power moves without announcement. You have been conditioned to think that learning these principles makes you a bad person. That is exactly what a manipulator wants you to believe. They want you to remain naive, predictable, and easy to control. The choice is simple but brutal. Become someone who understands and uses psychological influence, or remain someone who gets influenced and used by others. The world doesn't need more naive nice guys who finish last. It needs more people who understand psychological realities and use that understanding to build lives of influence and unshakable confidence. If these truths have awakened something in you, if you are tired of being the nice guy, then prove it. Like this video to signal your commitment to this new path. Share it with someone who needs to understand that niceness without strength is just weakness. And subscribe, because these lessons are just the beginning of your transformation. Remember what you declared at the beginning. You are no longer a piece in someone else's game. You are the player, you are the strategist. Now, make this final commitment. Type this into the comments to seal your transformation. I refuse to be psychologically dominated by others.